Okey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Morning all.
Salam.
Morning.
Morning.
Let's check on the attendance. We have 24 students out of 36. Okay. Let's look at the what you call our time frame here. Let's look at the time frame. Okay, now we are at week 13. We are at week 13, 5th of July 2021. As I remind earlier, just to remind all of you, we still operating at on the ODL mode. Kita masih lagi beroperasi dalam mode ODL. Okay, so as instructed by UITM. So this to remind you that we are nearing to the end of the semester, week 13. Okay, so before we go further into print finishing, I would like to talk about just to give you some motivation lah. Want to give you motivation. I want to introduce you to a word. Procrastinate. Okay. Procrastinate. This is a screen capture from Google Translate. Procrastinate means a delay or postpone action. Put off doing something. Dalam bahasa Melayunya, procrastinate means berlengah-lengah. So this is not a good way to start a class dengan perkataan yang negatif. Tapi I think this is a word that apply to everybody. Termasuklah diri saya. Termasuklah saya. Jadi lebih-lebih lagi lah kepada para pelajar yang mana dia dah tahu dah waktu assessment ataupun penilaian dan sebagainya tu makin hampir. So maknanya kat sini perkara berlengah-lengah ni berlaku dalam setiap orang. So you know, anda sedar bahawa kita beroperasi dalam mode ODL. Anda sedar bahawa kita ni beroperasi dalam mode ODL. Jadi bila kita dalam mode ODL, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian yang saya hormati, tak semestinya anda berlengah-lengah. Tak semestinya begitu. Benda yang berlengah-lengah ni dia akan menyebabkan kita kerugian lah. Kita kerugian dan akhirnya Muhammad Hafizuddin bin Selamat, mungkin kita akan tercicir. Kita tak nak diri kita tercicir, Syafiqah Samsul. Sebab atas kecuaian diri kita sendiri yang mana kita suka berlengah-lengah. Itu tak baguslah. Procrastinate. Okay? So jangan berlengah-lengah. Buat kerja. Ketepikan ODL apa, tak apalah, Cik Usop bukan nampak, bukan kita print. Jangan ada pemahaman yang begitu. Because kita ni dah dilanda dengan pandemik, kan? Kita dah diuji diuji dengan pandemik. Tapi kalau kita menguji diri kita ataupun kita letakkan diri kita dalam keadaan yang lebih sukar, kita jadi susah lah. So jangan berlengah. Okay. Itu mukadimah kita pada hari ini. Now, for those who are at YouTube, you can post a question at the chat window, and I will try to answer your question. Okay, so let's start now. Today I'm going to talk about the last stage of the production flow, Postpress finishing. So basically, today we're going to look at how to turn this printed sheet, this sheet and this sheet that printed sheet with all the color bars into a finished product. We're going to go through here, and some of the example, beberapa contoh yang saya akan kongsikan kepada anda is a generic one, because due to the diversity of a printed product. So dengan kata lain, proses finishing ni dia unik depending upon type of product. Product. Okay. So maybe you heard about converting. Converting. Ada setengah buku kan dia tulis converting. Converting operation. Some of books they use the word converting. Okay, converting operation means the production of product made of unprinted material, which are then normally further processed in finishing. In other words, converting comprise the production of products made of unprinted, tidak bercetak, which are then normally further processed. Unprinted, from a sheet into a product. Jadi contohnya apa? Such as a packaging. Packaging without any print out. Tadi unprinted kan? Unprinted kan? So, this I give you one example here. Tak ada print apa-apa atas dia. Ni is the label sticker lah for courier punya identification kan. Okay. Now, ni converting into this box, courier box. Okay. So our focus today is look at the to look at the postpress and finishing. Okay, now let's look at the example of print finishing product. This is taken from Helmut Kifan, page 181. Kalau you ada buku, anda boleh lihat. Some of the example. So this example pun tak menyuruh banyak pelbagai lagi produk percetakan. So what interesting about this table is classification of a product depending upon the class of the nature of the product. Okay, for example here, one piece, gathered, bound, or are others. Okay, one piece, simple explanation, single piece lah, satu piece. Okay, gathered product, and a bound product. So this is another classification of the product, a published product, family products or organizational materials, or an advertising products, or a periodical, bahan terbitan berkala, or a packaging materials. So I take one example here. Periodicals, bahan yang diterbitkan secara berkala. For example, newspaper, harian kan, dia ada kan, magazine, newspaper, journals, dan sebagainya. Is a gathered product, is a bound product for mass circulation. It's a magazine and all. Okay, whereby packaging is a one-piece product. For example, a label, a wrapping paper, folding carton, dan sebagainya. Boxes ni. Is a one-piece product. Okay, so end of the product. Now, so print finishing includes all those steps which are carried out after printing has taken place. After printing has taken place. Okay? After printing has taken place. Now, if we look at this flow also taken from Helmut Kifan, Postpress is here at the end of the manufacturing ataupun print production flow at the end. However, even though it is a final stage of the production flow, it needs to be planned. It needs to be think earlier in the process. Ia perlu dirancangkan, difikirkan seawal proses pre-press lah lagi. Okay, we need to have that in mind. Now, if you remember a topic regarding the production workflows management, we talk about upstream planning. Upstream planning kan. So the first thing that we consider is the finishing process. The finishing process. Okay. So how this I relate to your project is this LG full. Now, here under the main spec, I ask you to specify the finishing. Okay, in process sequence. So I categorize this into a compulsory and into an optional. finishing. Compulsory means wajib buat lah. Must do. Must do or die. Tu orang putih cakap. Must do. Kalau tak buat, tak jadi produk tu. Kan? So, I also ask you to put this in sequence. See? Sequence kerja. Prosedur kerja, sequence. Turutan kerja. So, all of you develop a folding carton. So, folding carton involve unique pattern. It have unique pattern which involve die cutting process. We discuss later about die cutting process. So, it is a compulsory step ataupun proses in your to complete the packaging. Okay. Now, what else? You also need to assist the folding. So we need to do creasing. We need to do creasing to assist the folding. So if you examine, a packaging, I did mention about this. You have dust flap. Ini dust flap dipanggil. So this need to be folded. Okay. So we need to apply a creasing over here. So this part and this part. Okay. So on the optional stages, optional process is a complementary process, complement to the packaging. It's not a must-do process, it's a complementary to the packaging. How? For example, to enhance the appearance of a printed product. Enhance the appearance. Enhance the appearance of printed product. This, for example. This is not a gold ink. However, this is a special finishing called stamping applied to this front layout. Why? Because to enhance the appearance of this product. Okay, enhance appearance to make it more attractive in the eyes of the customer or bakal customer, bakal pembeli, to make it stand out, itu justifikasi, kan, something yang different, yang berbeza kan antara satu dengan yang lain kan, of course akan dia jadi unique. This for example, or it can enhance the protection of this finishing. Protection from what, sir? From what? From dust, from water, scratches due to the transportation. So we can apply a lamination on top of the packaging. Protective layer. Tahu protective layer? Ni ada protective layer. Similar to this. Protective layer. Nampak ni? Gloss. So there is a few of justification why we apply those finishing. Now, similarly, semua ada justification. Dia bukan awak buat tu because Puan Hani suruh. Jawapan dia. Sebab supervisor saya suruh buat laminate, saya laminate lah. So, kena ada justifikasi why you do it. Why you do that. Macam kita buat pemilihan kertas. Kan? Type of suitable substrate for our folding carton. Kan? Then we decide on that. Okay? So, finishing process are as diverse as the method of producing printed product. Diverse. Pelbagai. Macam proses percetakan lah, method to print the product. It can be we can print conventional printing process, offset lithography, flexography, gravure, digital printing, diverse. Okay? So, yang penting kat sini macam mana kita nak apply dia. Okay? So, in manufacturing, cost yang paling efektif lah kita apply. So, whether they are involve books, newspaper, folding boxes, or a label. So, this give you some example. Okay. Processes such as cutting, folding, gathering, binding are important print finishing technologies for producing a finished product. Postpress processes can turn printed piece into a vibrant, dynamic product. Give you an example tadi, bawal ratu. Bawal ratu kan? Ni. Kan? From a dull, common, generic product, it can turn the product into a nice, unique product. See? Bawa lah jiwa apa? Jiwa bawal ratu, crystals from Swarovski. So nampak klasik. Ni kan? Crystal kan? Klasik, eksklusif, mewah. Kan? Nampak mewah. Gold nampak mewah. Kan? Hitam, putih kan? Tu boring lah kan? Hitam, putih, boring lah colour tu. So, nampak lah mewah dia. Kemewahan. Sebab dia dah kenal pasti kan? Siapa target market ni? Yang makan beli bawah ratu ni? Satu tudung ni berapa harga dia? Okay? You can turn that product into a vibrant, dynamic product. So, post-press operation account for 25% of a job value. 25% nilai job itu. Jadi maknanya besar jugalah, 25%. This point relate to the what? To the costing. Janganlah, cik saya nak buat stamping, saya nak buat embossing, semua saya nak buat dalam satu packaging. Saya dah bagi satu fakta ni bahawa 25% proses post-press operation ni. Jadi kalau awak banyak application dia pada packaging awak, pada projek awak, dia akan jadi meningkat lah kos dia. Itu belum masuk lagi kos percetakan. Jadi, you need to justify kenapa kena buat tu. Jangan main suka hati je nak propose. So, intricate finishing intricate, yang rumit, yang detail, can be slow, and can take multiple working day to complete. Yang rumit. For example, rumit macam mana, Encik? Bukankah semua pakai mesin, teknologis ke, Encik? Yap. Using technologies. However, there is a intricate finishing. For example, a unique folding, a specialty folding technique. Specialty folding technique. Kita dah tahu dah, folding ni kalau guna mesin, kan? Show you some example here. If we use a machine, dia ada dua je, buckle and knife fold. Kalau dia tak match with this folding machine, maknanya dia jatuh dalam kategori specialty folding. Specialty folding. Bila specialty folding, there is no technologies yang boleh buat. Maknanya apa? Maknanya involve hand fold. Itu point saya tadi tu. Hand folding, manual folding, kena lipat manual. Okay, kena lipat manual. Guna tangan. Guna tangan. So jadi bezalah guna tangan dengan gunakan teknologi. It can take multiple working day to complete. I masukkan point ni because I notice that some of you yang buat minor ke major 2 ke, minor lah I think, buat brochure yang I don't know what type of folding lah. What type of folding saya tak tahu. Saya tak boleh nak label. Saya yang ilmu tak cukup ni, saya tak tahu folding apa yang awak pakai. Dia unique. Ada a few of you lah yang buat tu. Dia jatuh di bawah specialty folding. So I think I share with you this poster kat belakang. Poster types of folding. It's quite dark, dia nampak macam gelap. I will take a picture. Saya akan ambil gambar dan share with you specialty for folding. Which may involve human folding, manual folding. Yang tu kena alert lah perkara tersebut. Jangan tahu buat dia. Buat pun tak berapa nak buat sangat lah. Design pun tak apa-apa kan. Tapi proses pun tak kuasai. Tu masalah besar. Proses pun tak kuasai. Design pun tak berapa kan. Kan. Proses pun tak kuasai. Bayangkan So it's very unfortunate lah. But still you have time. Masih ada lagi masa lagi ni. Jangan berlengah-lengah lah. Bak kata tadi, kata motivasi yang awal tadi, jangan berlengah-lengah. Tak faham tanya. Jangan last minute baru nak tanya. Okay, now basically Postpress involve binding operation, joining together the assembled pages of a printed piece, join together. Whereas finishing operation consists of cutting, trimming, folding, additional decorative action that enhance the visual appeal of a printed piece. In general, this is postpress and finishing. So we need to ask ourselves, kita kena tanya diri kita, all system go? All system go means semua checklist dah bertanda ke belum? Apa dia? Printed sheet dah ada belum? Dah ready or not? Everything is in proper ataupun belum? Because we need to do the finishing. And kalau plate belum siap, macam mana nak buat finishing? Kan? Okay, we need to ask ourselves. Kalau design pun tak approve, macam mana nak buat Postpress? Kan? Macam mana nak buat Postpress? Kena tanya diri sendiri. Jangan berlengah-lengah. Jangan berlengah. Tanya. Should ask yourself. Dah siap belum? Okay. So the first, one of the most, I think, most of the printed product involve this process lah. So, to turn a last sheet here into this, okay, into this last sheet, okay, into this involve cutting. Okay, which part to cut, sir? Ni kan, this is a 2-up packaging. This is a 2-up. 1, 2. We need to cut here. Then we need to cut here. So, in print finishing, cutting is the mechanical separation, pemisahan, separate, of a material by pressure, where shearing strain is predominantly in force, tekanan lah, dengan tekanan. Involve pressure. So, this is one example of the cutting process. Okay, if you can see here, cutting with guillotine cutters. Guillotine ni apa? Mesin pemotong kertas. Mesin pemotong kertas. There is a few types of cutting. Okay, knife cut principle, shear cut principle, and burst cut principle. The most commonly used knife cut principle. Knife cut principle. Okay. Now, as I promised, this I will share with you equipment, peralatan yang ada di Jabatan Teknologi Percetakan. It's called Datin Computerized Cutter, CT115E. Now, if you remember what approach apa yang saya gunakan untuk mengajar awak ni kan, I give you an example of the machine or the product. For example, itu hari apa? CTP kan? So, I give you the name of the machine that there will responsibility to find the specification of this machine is up to the student. Okay, so this is the name of the machine. This is some of the specification, the size of the machine. So how this machine works? Now, guided by job docket or job instruction. Okay, berpandukan kepada job instruction. Okay, crop mark, an operator kan akan memotong bahagian yang perlu dipotong. Okay, This in this picture or in this video, something like a card. For example, kita ambil lah a playing card. Skeping, nampak skeping satu, 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 satu kan. Jadi dia the method of folding ini depending, dia kena plan, well plan. Tak boleh suka hati nak potong sengit dulu, melintang dulu, because dia akan melambatkan proses tersebut. Dia akan melambatkan proses tersebut. Dan bila lambat, apa berlaku kelas? Akan meningkatkan kos lah. Akan meningkatkan kos. Okay? So, your responsibility now is to draw the cutting sequence plan. Kita panggil cutting sequence plan for your sheet. In order to maximize ataupun to achieve efficiency during the cutting, kena ada cutting sequence plan. Okay? Cutting sequence plan. Kena ada plan, perancangan untuk memotong dia. Now, remember I mentioned earlier, this process can be efficient kalau kita boleh rancang dia dengan betul. Tadi dalam video pun tunjuk bahawa this knife, dia turun sekali je, dia dapat memutuskan antara satu bahagian dengan satu bahagian yang lain. One cut. Nampak? So, what I want you to do now is to draw the cutting sequence plan for your sheet. Sebab apa? Sebab nak menunjukkan the sequence. Mana satu nak potong dahulu. Dengan buat perkara ni, dia akan meminta anda ataupun menyebabkan anda review balik macam mana anda positionkan pages anda di atas printed sheet. As I go through your project, Puan Anis pun boleh go through projek pelajar ni. Ada yang buat jarak jauh, ada yang buat rapat, ada yang during your imposition. So I want you to draw the cutting sequence plan for your sheet. Okay, now this we have practice. Kita dah practice perkara ni. In this substrate management, where I ask you to draw the diagram to cut the paper. Saya minta awak lukis. Tak apa, lukis pakai pen pun tak apa. Tak payah AI, tak payah apa. Kan, saya tunjuk ke awak, saya keluarkan whiteboard tu. Saya draw je paper size, saya labelkan dan saya tunjukkan kepada anda. That will be better and will improve your understanding. Rather than, ya betul lah, ini awak dah buat ni based on apa, ikut saya punya flow dan sebagainya. Good. Tapi macam mana saya nak tahu bahawa pelajar ni buat betul dengan pelajar ni? Pelajar ni tak tiru pelajar ni tak ambil pelajar ni punya. Apa evidence dia? Kan? So I need that evidence to confirm, untuk meyakinkan diri saya lah bahawa pelajar ni betul-betul menguasai apa yang dia belajar. So draw, lukis lah. Alah, complicated betul lah Cik Usop ni. Memang complicated, bukan complicated. This is pengajaran dan pembelajaran. Okay? Itu instruction saya. Jangan buat sekarang because we have other slide. Kita ada 300 slide lagi nak go through ya. So I want you to draw your sequence, cutting sequence plan. For your printed sheet ni, parent sheet ni, and for your project. Dua lah kena buat. And to include in your technical report. Now, Die cutting. Now, in contrast to cutting and trimming, where the material is cut in the straight line kan tadi kan, is a straight line. Die cutting is a process in which materials are cut into a specific pattern. Specific pattern. Unique pattern, specific. Okay, for example here. Pattern. Here. This part, this shape, ada angle yang tertentu ni. What else? This. Here. Ni. Okay. So, straight line. Ni straight lah. Ni straight line. Ni straight. Ini unique ataupun specific pattern. Okay. So, this type of cutting tak boleh dilakukan dengan guillotine cutters. So, we call this process die cutting process. Die cutting process. So, sample of the product, packaging, folding carton, label, dan sebagainya. Okay, so next we're going to look at how this works. I know that I think we have seen this video many times. I've shown you. But however, I want to play this again so that you can have better understanding on this. Now, okay, this is die cutting, creasing, die cutting and creasing machine. Platen die cutters, platen die cutter. Now, as you can see here, this is the block, this is the sheet. Now, these two operator, this one act as a feeder. The main operator lah. Main operator. So it will feed the paper individually, sheet by sheet, to this machine, and it will press against the die cut block. Press, tekan. So this type of machine widely used for this type of for short and medium job quantity job. Short and medium quantity job. Seperti mana produk packaging yang macam ni ya. Okay. Ni basically IKS, SME biasanya banyak macam ni, benda-benda macam ni. Short and medium. If large quantity, they're going to use something like this vertical platen die cutters. Okay, vertical platen die cutters, specifically for large quantity. As you can see, tengok pada gambar rajah ni pun dah tahu dah. Look at the feeder which can stack a large quantity of materials. Kan beza dengan platen tadi kan, dia feed by hand dengan tangan satu per satu. Kan? This will allow the process more efficient. Jadikan proses itu lebih efficient. And normally for a large quantity. My experience, tapi tak ada gambar lah, pengalaman saya. Kita pergi apa nama dia Faiz? Dekat Johor tu, Color Craft kan. Yang mana dia dapat kontrak apa? Kontrak pencetak packaging untuk Dyson. Dyson. Tahu Dyson? Dyson. Dyson yang keluarkan kipas appliance lah, alat-alat yang macam ni, tapi dia unik kan, bentuk dia tu very industrial, nampak macam futuristic kan, dia unik kan, beza dengan Panasonic dengan apa kan, something like this. So dia dapat kontrak ni, so you can imagine lah berapa banyak lah ataupun berapa besar packaging yang diperlukan untuk membungkus ni. Ni for example pure cool air purifier ni, tengok dia punya shape dia tu unik. So berapa pula besar dia perlukan, kotak yang diperlukan untuk menyimpan ataupun untuk package this product. This for example Dyson V11 vacuum ni, harga pun 3,000 vacuum. Kipas angin harga 1,000 lebih. Itu pun dapat yang kecil kan. Jadi can you imagine that, number one, the uniqueness of the packaging, berapa besar packaging yang dia nak. Number two is about the quantity kan. Satu batch manufacturing of this Dyson V11 absolute vacuum ni, bukan dia hasilkan 50 biji ataupun 50 buah ataupun 1,000 buah. Mungkin satu batch tu untuk pasaran dunia mungkin dia keluar beribu. Beribu-ribu kan. Ada manufacturing dia lah. Jadi dia memerlukan pembungkusan yang banyak. Similar to that. Jadi dia kena satu proses yang systematic lah. And then apabila dia award dengan job packaging ni, dia juga nak kena yakin bahawa syarikat tu mampu deliver produk. Sebab tu syarikat tu dapat with all the facilities yang dia ada, dia boleh deliver produk tersebut. So at that companies, bila kita pergi, dia ada machine ni, vertical platen die cutters. They have this machine, okay, capable to do die cutting in a very large quantity. Kan, okay, so the concept is basically similar lah. Konsep dia sama lah. To trim unique ataupun specific pattern kan. Tapi this is more robust and more systematic way of do die cut. Still have the block, platen block. We have the block over here. The stripping, they have this stripping process in place. They have this blank separator, and they can produce the in very short time. compared to this semi-auto machine. Here. Here, what happened? Here. Okay. So after this, boleh salah pula tu. So what happened here? You kena, after the cutting, you kena strip. Kita panggil dia proses stripping. Ini kena pisahkan antara yang telah di chop ataupun die cut, telah di cut dengan itu, dengan the whole sheet. So this process is done normally untuk platen die cutter is done manually. Akan dibuat secara manual. Pisahkan. Pengalaman saya melihat benda ni buat, dia ada macam satu tukul. Bukan buat dia ada besi tukul dia ada plastik, dia ketuk tepi ni. Ketuk dan dia akan tercerai. Kenapa tak diceraikan sewaktu proses ni? Logically nak cerai waktu proses ni, what happen kalau dia tekan habis, the sheet kan, dia mungkin akan tersangkut dekat mesin ini. Jadi menyebabkan proses ini tidak berlaku dengan pemotongan itu terganggu. Ni semi auto lah. Auto ni kat bahagian sini, yang lain ni semua manual. Okay, so for your product, for your packaging, you're going to use this type of process. This process. Knife cut method mainly used for as the manufacture of knife cutting tools is simpler and therefore cheaper. Now, basically, die cutting can be divided into into a shear cut and knife cut. Most commonly used is a knife cut. Knife cut ni konsep dia sama macam guillotine cutting. Guillotine cutter tu. So, method rotary die cutting. Rotary maksudnya a blade install at the cylinder. Dia letak pada cylinder. For example, this is a cylinder. So dia ada cutting blade kat sini. So bila dia move, dia berpusing, dia akan potong. Biasanya dekat mesin web ada benda macam ni. Web offset untuk print surat khabar kan. Dia ada potong kan. Kalau tengok newspaper, dia at the end of the process tu dia dah separate kan dia. Rotary. Jadi rotary ni very fast lah. Mesin dia very very quick. Sangat cepat. Bila sangat cepat untuk large quantity. A flatbed, something like yang tadi tu. Platen. Ni. Vertical platen ataupun the most commonly used ni, platen die cutter. Now, this machine, die cutting, especially equipped with vertical die cutters, are able to do embossing or foil stamping. Okay, it also can do foil stamping and embossing in a single block. For example, this, as you can see here, if you notice this in this video, nampak dia ada creasing in the creasing you all tahu in the die cut block, tapi embossing over here dia ada nampak this part. Ni. Mungkin somewhere around here ada emboss. Or you can do stamping directly here. Depending upon the equipment. Depending upon the equipment. Jadi why I mention this because kalau awak keluar nanti, kalau awak jumpa this machine can do that, awak baguslah pilih yang itu. Capable to do that. That machine capable to do this. So the reason I share this because kita ODL lah satu. Kalau tak kita pergi. We experience the process. Jadi mungkin apa yang saya share ni very limited. Sangat terhad. Jadi kalau sangat terhad, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kena cari lagi. Kena carilah lagi. I give you the concept. The rest you kena cari. Okay. Creasing. Indenting lines into substrate such as cardboard or paper. This part. Indent. This part. Here. Here. To guide folding operation. To guide folding or operation. Okay. Now, in packaging, dalam packaging, proses lipatan ini boleh gunakan machine. We can fold this using machine. Again, like I mentioned earlier, depending upon nature of the project, of the job. Kalau kuantitinya 1 juta, 1 million quantity, tak logik nak pakai tangan. Berapa ramai pula lah pekerja nak cari, nak melipatkan benda tu. For example, kotak ubat kan. Kotak ubat kan banyak kan. So they use a machine to fold this. Folder gluer dia panggil. Ataupun former. Form dia bentuk kan packaging tu. Kan? For short and medium packaging, this folding oleh kerana dia dah ada benda tu. Oleh kerana dia dah ada. So apa yang berlaku ialah dia akan lipat secara manual. Hello. Salam. Ya, saya. Ya, Puan. Oh, ada. Dekat puncak alam. Tanya pasal vaksin pula. Okay. So, okay. So, kat mana tadi? Folding. This can be fold. Manually. Kalau short, ataupun low quantity, fold manually. Now, next. Foil stamping. System that transfer an image in colored foil or gold leaf to a substrate by means of heated dye. This, for example. Colored foil. It could be silver, gold. Yang paling popular ialah gold, silver kan. Gold nak nampak apa? Gold nak nampak eksklusif, nak nampak mahal kan. Gold. So they apply over here. Gold leaf by means of heated dye. Dye dipanaskan. So there is a colored foil. Foil ni macam foil is a foil. Very thin foil, macam plastik tu. So it is heated and stamped to the substrate. Panas lah. Dia ni panas. So dia akan melekat kat sini. Okay. What else? Embossing. Also uses dye to press against image or texture on a blank or printed substrate. raise images. Raise images or textures to blank or printed substrate. Dia boleh jadi blank, kertas kosong with the logo. Ada kad kahwin banyak buat macam ni. Kad kahwin nak nampak eksklusif. Ataupun specific on the print out ni pun boleh juga. It could be yang ni nampak macam batu Swarovski ni pun boleh dibuat emboss. Boleh dispart di bahagian ini. Now, depending upon complexity. Tengok. Depending upon the complexity of this design ataupun artwork ni, kalau detail macam ni kan, kecil, very small macam ni, very difficult to do embossing. Difficult. In fact, mungkin tak boleh katnya. So, you need to check. Sebab itu kalau tengok contoh dalam slide saya ni semua benda yang besar-besar. Dia bagi benda yang typography. Besar supaya senang diukur ataupun senang dibuat. Macam I did mention about cost just now, lagi susah, lagi detail benda tu, lagi sukar lah ianya untuk dibuat. Dia macam tu. Okay, now let's look at the block. Okay, now this outline, ni outline, ni luaran, sorry, use different color, blue, ni luaran dia ni kan. It's called contour. Contour. It is a computer control laser die cutters are used. To cut the contour, ni bentuk ni, contour ni. This outline. Contour, tahu contour. C-O-N-T-O-U-R. Contour ialah outline. Outline, technical drawing dia tu, outline dia. Representing bounding the shape or form of something. Ni bentuk packaging. Something like this lah kot. Packaging dia. Similar lah. Macam hampir. This is called contour. Lines. A curve. Termasuklah curve. Dan sebagainya. This is called contour. So this contour, to cut this contour, nak potong contour ni into the base. This is the base. Okay. Base. Block. Okay. A computer control laser cutters are used. Computer control laser cutters. Potong ni. Slot. Pakai laser. This base, tapak ni, base dia ni, ataupun block, the whole thing is called block lah bila dah siap. This base is normally made from wood, kayu. A block of wood block. Is a wood block. Normally lah. Ada juga gunakan bahan-bahan ataupun material yang lain macam sebab cost dia mahal kan, so dia reduce the cost, dia gunakan plywood yang lapisan yang banyak lapis supaya dia lebih kuat. Bukan plywood buat almari murah tu, bukan. Sebab dia nak kena tahan pressure, tekanan yang kuat tu. So jadi dia kena macam tu. I have one dekat rumah saya, dekat bahagian bawah, tapi saya malah nak tunjuk kat awak sebab dah pecah dah. Dekat bahagian bawah ni is made from a layer of compressed chipboard. Compress is a compressed chipboard, layer. Jadi bila terdedah kan, layer tu dia kena air, kena udara, dia merekah tau. Ada kat bawah. So bila nak pegang dia tu dia hancur. So saya tak bawa lah. I give you this picture. I give you this picture to represent the base. So the data that is used to control the laser is the same as was produced for the development of the die cutting product. Jadi in order to produce this contour perfectly, it going to use the data from the die cutting, data this contour line during the packaging development. In order to cut this, laser cut tu nak potong ni semua, dia akan gunakan data, contour data from the packaging development. Oleh kerana itu, kita kena pastikan bahawa our die line, our contour, our technical line is correct. Tepat. Okay. Because why? Once you hear, because die cutting at the end kan, dia berada di penghujung kan. In the post-press finishing stage. Dan kalau salah ini, maknanya printed sheet kita semua dah salah. Die line dia. Sebab itu, I assess your contour line or your die line tu during week berapa saya tak ingat, 2 ke 3 ke 4 ke, and I made a classification into 3. Saya mengkelaskan your die line, your packaging into 3. If you remember, okay, here under the Postpress, mana yang very difficult maksudnya very sukar lah untuk dibuat, kan? Ni, depending upon the complexity of your packaging, of your job, complexity of the job. So I give you classification such as low, medium, and high complexity. If we not tackle this at the early stage of the development, kita ada masalah besar. Dengan kata lain, kalau kita tak selesaikan masalah ni, kita tak hasilkan contour line ini betul di awal proses, kita akan hadapi masalah besar. Okay? Now, depending upon the complexity of your job, and during your interview or not interview, presentation, I can classify your project into low, medium, and high complexity. So for those under the high and medium job, I recommend you to do the mock-up ataupun prototype of this contour ataupun die line. Because to make sure that the cutting will be correct lah. Potongan itu betul. Kalau macam I did mention, kalau faham Postpress tu dia bukannya proses yang kita boleh berulang-ulang kan. Maksudnya dia at the end of the process, depending upon type of job dan complexity of job, is a sequence of process. Kalau dah salah, macam mana nak buat betul kan? Maksudnya kena betulkan semula. The input for finishing or Postpress will be the printed sheet. Kalau printed sheet tu ada masalah, die line tu sendiri ada masalah, proses finishing pun akan hadapi masalah. Okay, so please relate this ni. Relate this with your project. Okay? I want this. I want you to state this in your technical report. So basically, this complexity of job ataupun di ni kan, to make sure this correct, involved in the prepress, berlaku dalam prepress. Sebab itu kita sebab itu saya pening ataupun saya pelik when you do not mention this. You need to mention this during the prepress. Beritahu lah macam mana you develop this to make sure that you do the correct way to do the packaging. You mention this lah. This is the complexity of the packaging process. Kalau buat majalah, printed magazine kan, you all buat printed magazine, ada proses dia. This is the process of the packaging. Okay? Jadi janganlah bangga sangat dengan markah yang anda dah terima tu. Because it's not complete yet. You need to be more specific during your presentation and your technical report. Here. So this blade is called steel rule dies. Steel is made from steel. This part will be the cutting edges. Bahagian yang akan potong tajam lah ni, bevel ni tajam. So here kalau awak nampak ni, this is the base yang tadi kita bincang. Here, ni this opening kan. Ini is done by the laser cutter. Laser cutter akan tembak, akan shoot plywood base. Shoot ni bahagian ni. So opening tu very small, narrow, sempit ruang tu. Ruang tu sangat sempit bagi memasukkan ini lebar dia ni 0.7 mm ya. Ni 0.7 mm. Ini dalam buku lah, dalam teori lah. Ini 0.7. So maknanya this cutting edges ataupun steel rule ini sangat nipis dan perlukan laser cutter untuk do this opening plywood base, nak masukkan dia. Bila dah ada opening, the next step will be this manually put the steel rule through the base. Macam mana kaedah dia buat? Guna tangan. Mata pisau ni dipotong satu-satu ikut kepada die cut line anda ataupun contour tu, dan dimasukkan ke dalam ni. Diketuk, dimasukkan ke dalam lubang ini. This opening. Sebab itu steel rule ini dia kena ikut computer aided design. Computer aided design. For example, curve. This curve need to be precise, tepat. Curve ni kena tepat. Ni. Apa yang tepat dia encik? Angle dia, sudut dia. Ni sudut ni kena sama. Ni small one. Ni kan. Ini kena sama throughout this one. Okay. Tak ada cara lain selain daripada menggunakan CAD, Computer Aided Design Software. Yang mana fungsinya will drive the laser cutter and will cut the plywood base satu and the dies. Nak bengkokkan, ada curve, ada sudut yang tertentu nak dibengkokkan. Okay. So that is important manufacturing process dia macam tu dia bukan idea inovasi. Yap, itu penting lah, itu dalam development itu dalam development but once you go into manufacturing this is the way to do this. This is the way. Kalau tak boleh jadi packaging tu tak betul, tak tepat, nanti akhirnya dia tak tepat, tak boleh dilipat, tak boleh ditutup dengan betul. Jadi kalau packaging tak serve its purpose, tak boleh ditutup, jadi maknanya tak berfungsi packaging tu. Tidak berfungsi. Now, let's look here. This is the die bar. Okay, just now I mentioned. This is the steel rule yang tajam untuk memotong dia. And this is the creasing rule. Creasing dia akan, permukaan dia tumpul lah. Pointing. Okay. Look at the result. Now, here, there is a rubber release. A release rubber. Now, remember tadi video yang mula-mula saya tunjuk tadi tu. Once the pressure dia tekan when it chop, so dia kena anjal. Dia kena ada macam some sort of spring nak tolak sheet tu terkeluar semula. Kalau tidak, nanti macam mana nak masukkan kertas yang kedua? So there will be a release rubber. A more high-end project dia akan gunakan specific rubber. For example, like this. Ni. Macam ni. Dia tekan dan dia, oleh kerana sifat rubber tu yang anjal dia anjal kan, dia akan tolak semula kertas keluar. Dia akan tolak semula kertas keluar. Adanya very simple, nampak macam solution yang simple. Oh, rubber je, pakai rubber je. Tapi very interesting, very useful. Very useful. Okay, so they use that. The making of a tool. Ni buat pakai tangan lah. If you can see here, if I can point it out here, nampak ni contour line dia. Atas ni contour line dia. Yang ni dia dah pasang with the steel, yang nampak ni semua contour line. So this operator, technician dia akan ketuk satu persatu ni steel die yang telah dipotong. Okay. Now, this is for short and medium. So for something like on-demand product, it's not suitable to use die cutting process. Because why? Seperti yang anda sedia maklum, awak pun dah belajar dalam kelas Postpress, kita kena buat die cut block. The process is prosesnya panjang lah which I can relate with the making of printing plate. Macam buat printing plate lah kan, macam buat printing plate, offset lithography unit di offset plate kan. Dalam pre-press, at the end of the pre-press you kena ada plate. So those plate masuk ke dalam, install in the offset press, lepas tu cetak. Sebab tu dia suitable for medium and large quantity. For on-demand product, it's not suitable, it's not cost effective that we use die cut process. Kenapa? Because of the quantity. Tak boleh nak justify kan dia untuk buat die cut block, die cut process. Quantity dia sikit, 5. Contoh 5. Kenapa 5? Mungkin mock-up, trial ke apa ke. Dia macam tu. So, what are the alternative for this? Is a digital cutters for on-demand product. Okay, for example, here, this is a, here. Okay, flatbed cutting plotter dia panggil. Itu trade name dia lah. Okay, now what you have watched is a graph tag, FCX 2000. The reason why showing you a graph tag. Ada banyak lagi jenama lain. Because this is the most popular one. Itu yang pertama lah, popular. Dan yang kedua is meant for serious lah, meant for commercial use. Meant for commercial use. Bukan hobi. Dia bukan hobi. Dia bukan, tahu hobi. Hobi macam DIY. DIY punya projek buat kat rumah kan, potong apa contoh mesin DIY ni, apa Halim? Kan, mesin DIY kan. Jangan gunakan mesin yang macam tu kan, because we are talk about the printing kan. Cry cut kan contohnya kan. Itu mesin DIY desktop. Cry cut. Nanti you Google at or you Google or you go through Shopee ke Lazada, ada orang jual. Dalam 1,000 lebih, 2,000 lebih dah dapat dah. Tapi dia lebih kepada hobi lah. Ada macam drone. Tahu drone? Commercial drone kan. Yang macam polis pakai. Takkan nak pakai yang budak-budak punya. DJI Cello ke apa benda ke. Tak boleh, nak kena pakai yang high end. So, bila awak present nanti, kalau if you involve a special card for your major minor contohnya, for example, you need to mention a special kind of machine meant for commercial purposes. Macam tu So here FCX tu 2,000. Meant for commercial in the level of short to medium. Short to medium. Now, when we compare this to more serious, ada yang serious, ada tak serious ke cik? Bukanlah ada yang tak serious, ada yang more high end. High end. High end means it can print or it can do cutting, more high end cutting. For example, a thick substrate. There is a brand from ESCO, ESKO, which specialize on packaging. Some of the machine is called Kongsberg. Ni sebelah ni, Kongsberg. It was meant for short run and for mock-up. Okay, now when we compare these two, bila kita buat perbandingan dua perkara ni, kita boleh nampak lah bahawa Kongsberg by Esco ni, dia dah positionkan produk dia untuk industri yang macam mana. Kita boleh faham perkara tu. Jadi if you look at some of the videos tadi, kat tengah-tengah video tadi, dia talk about they can cut into a corrugated boxes. Kan? Dia boleh cut into a corrugated boxes. Where flatbed cutting plotters by Graphtec tadi tak mampu buat. Dia tak mampu buat. Jadi that is flexibility of the machine and very significant. Sangat significant dalam konteks sekarang ni, di mana like I mentioned earlier, last week, di mana e-commerce ni dah booming kan. Boom. E-commerce. So, e-commerce boom. Jadi, e-commerce need a special product corrugated. Kan? So, it's very relevant with the current situation yang macam ni. Itulah dia punya target of this product. Jadi I'm exposing, saya mendedahkan perkara ni kepada anda semua supaya lepas ni kalau awak buat sendiri lepas ni semua orang nak jadi usahawan kan, nak jadi freelancer kan. Jadi awak tahulah proses tu, dan kalau awak nak cover from A to Z, you can awak boleh pilih proses mana yang sepatutnya saya lakukan untuk projek ini, for example. This for example Kongsberg ni available at dot to dot imaging ada. This machine ada available here dekat Malaysia ni. Okay. So Graphtec ni very straightforward ini dekat mana pun ada. Ni commercially available. Kalau Kongsberg ni very application dia sangat spesifik. Dia ada dekat sebuah syarikat yang memang fokus on packaging satu, and anda boleh dapatkan perkhidmatan daripada mereka kalau anda nak buat. Macam IPP dekat Kelang ada satu syarikat IPP yang memang buat packaging. Then you can walk in, you can ask them to develop the packaging. Dia macam tu. So Kongsberg and Graphtec. So which one is suitable for you? Now the concept to develop the contour line or the technical line is basically similar, sama. Konsep nak develop dia sama lebih kurang. Jadi to make sure that sebelum dia potong dengan betul, kita kena pastikan contour line tu tepat. Kita kena pastikan die line tu tepat. Sebab itu a series of mock-up tu sangat penting. Sebab tu mock-up tu penting. Jadi to cut on digital cutter, maybe during the development of the contour line ataupun technical line tu, you boleh potong sendiri. You boleh potong gunakan this machine tanpa design without the design, tengok dia punya folding betul, and then you can proceed with the design stage. Make sure that dia punya die cut line tu betul. Or you can use template. Packaging template. You can use packaging template. There is an organization yang develop packaging, association that develop packaging, folding carton association. Seperti ECMA, carton makers ni kan. European Carton Makers Association. Just give you one example lah. They publish this. Dia publish tau. Template that can designer can use. Template tu dia develop. Jadi dapat memendekkan kos tu lah. Kos dapat memendekkan masa develop die line ataupun contour line itu. Satu. Yang kedua, dapat menjimatkan kos. Kalau kita develop from scratch, daripada zero kita buat, kita akan hadapi masalah lah yang sangat besar. Contohnya ketepatan dia, technical dia dan sebagainya. Sebab itu awak develop packaging based on the packaging, existing packaging yang ada dekat pasaran. Awak ambil tu dan awak buat adjustment. Because you want to reduce the complexity. You want to reduce the complexity. Kalau you nak develop from scratch, you tak ada masa. You tak cukup masa yang tepat. Masa yang sesuai untuk develop dia. Because you have the time frame. Awak ada tempoh masa. Beza dengan IPP. Buka IPP, syarikat apa. Beza dengan IPP, memang dia concentrate buat benda tu. Even IPP pun using dia template from ECMA, from their client. The client develop template tu from this association. McDonald for example, dia akan develop tu, the designer buat and then deliver to the printer. Printer buat adjustment yang sesuai. Jadi ada benda-benda yang macam ni. So you can look into this. Ada toolkit, technical guideline. They also publish a technical guideline. Dia beritahu awak. I think you cover this in packaging class. Packaging class, cikgu dia mesti cakap lah macam mana nak develop technical line ini. You can download this. Okay, and how to assign the spot color or the braille. Braille ni untuk orang yang ada masalah penglihatan kan. Dia akan tu kan. Ini dekat negara maju memang dah aplikasikan packaging tersebut. So you can develop. Nampak see? Nampak tak? So all the things, if you remember, kalau awak ingat, here, saya tanya awak, what type of folding kan? Semuanya berdasarkan kepada apa yang ada dekat industri, seperti ECMA dan sebagainya. Saya tak buat ni, buat apa, classification ni supaya awak susah nak buat ke bukan. Saya nak awak faham packaging yang awak buat. Packaging yang awak buat. Mesti related with the systematic way of producing a packaging. So you can look into this here. Boleh tengok dekat sini. Ada handout ni. Boleh download pun cara nak save, cara nak apa dan sebagainya. See? Mana glue line. Nampak glue line dia suruh buat macam mana. Similar. Sama. Similar seperti apa yang saya nasihatkan awak. So kalau awak tak jelas, I want you to look back into this guideline. Okay. So back to digital cutters. Digital cutters for short and print on demand project. Print on demand project. Okay. Mungkin major 2 ke. Tengok quantity tu. Minor ke. You can propose this type of machine. Now, next is about folding. Folding is a sharp edge bending of paper webs, web, kertas dalam bentuk gulungan ataupun a sheet under pressure at a prepared or unprepared bending points along a straight line. This definition, okay, this definition is from the book. Bending, bend of paper according to specified dimension and folding layout. Bukan bending sesuka hati. Dia mesti ada specified dimension. Apa size nak fold ni? Dan mesti ada types of ataupun layout folding yang tertentu. Now, basically, to fold using a folding machine can divided into two: buckle fold and knife folding principle. Okay, buckle and knife folding. So, knife fold, also known as aka right angle fold. Now, additionally, tambahan, in the folding machine, dalam mesin folding, we can also depending upon specification of the folding machine ataupun folding units, it can also do cutting, perforating, creasing, or gluing. Again, it depend on the folding units or the folding machine, bergantung kepada mesin tersebut. Ada mesin tu boleh lipat terus boleh buat cutting. Three knife, trimmer ada. Perforating dan sebagainya. Perforation. Okay, this is several important types of folded sheet. A zigzag fold, a concertina fold, or a letter fold, or a gate fold, or a combined fold sequence. Combine. Parallel and right angle fold. Combine. So this will make up a signature. Ni akan menjadikan dia satu signature. Dia combine. This for example. Okay. One. Right angle. Nah. Then combine fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jadi satu signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ada juga, dia boleh jadi dalam bentuk yang lain, dia boleh jadi concertina fold, boleh jadi macam ni. 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 Concertina fold, zigzag. Kalau cikgu buat dummy kalau pelajar tak ada benda ni kan, waktu presentation saya amat duka cita lah. Itu sampingan Jadi maknanya you kena ada. Nampak C? Okay. Kan? Ni. And this. One. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I let me share you experience doing this Biasanya buku macam ni dia segi 4 tepat. Coffee table book I have experience dia buat macam ni. So in production sebelum kita dapat job kan, then kita study kan. Ada apa? The production the sale executive yang jaga account tu kan, dia akan tengok size tu. Oh okay. So apa dia buat? Dia akan bincang dengan production planner. Okay, so macam mana kita nak buat ni? Okay, production planner akan plan. Okay, tengok spec the machine. Dia mahir lah. Production planner you all lah ni semua. Okay, kita punya machine tak boleh do something like this. Kita kena macam ni. So, dia akan develop dia dummy and pass this. Pass this ataupun discuss this with the pre-press. Why? Kenapa? Because this dummy will be used to assign during the impositioning. Nampak? During the impositioning. Jadi, if you have demonstrate the imposition process, kalau awak dah faham imposition process yang kita simulate dengan Adobe InDesign tu lagi, awak faham apa maksud assigning the pages kan? Awak akan buka page macam ni, and then you can nampak the template in front of you, the paper, awak akan assign. Okay, page 2 dekat mana? Page 11 dekat mana? Tengok orientation macam ni. A2 dia macam ni kan, so maksudnya orientation dia macam ni. 3 page macam ni kan, orientation dia macam ni. You tak boleh susun sebelah-sebelah menghadap macam ni. Salah. Tak boleh. Jadi penting dummy ni. So in real production, this thing will be discussed together. Kita akan brainstorm. Discuss together with the production planner. Kenapa? Sebab kita nak consider what? Consider the machine kita. Kemampuan mesin tersebut. Jadi anda kena buatlah benda ni. For those who are doing the coffee table book, multiple page brochure, kena ada dummy. Kena ada dummy like this. You can do something like this, or a normal portrait book, something like this. Okay, next. That's the importance of dummy to represent the folded sheet kan. So ni 8 9 10 11 12 13 16. Okay, so ni we have two section kan. Look at the numbers 8 9. Jadi maknanya dia gather to do the perfect bind. Gathering process for perfect binding. Okay, now if saddle stitching, this is not the case. Saddle, maksud saddle tu dia kat tengah-tengah. So dia bukan ni lagi. Dia bukan gather. Dia akan jadi inserting. This section, insert here. Why? Because saddle stitching, the wire will be stitched here. Takkanlah saddle stitching macam ni. Spine dia over here. Nak stitch macam mana? Dah jadi side stitching kat sini. Ni dipanggil side stitching. Ada buku yang macam ni. National Geographic for example. Side stitching. So, if your client requires for saddle, it need to be in insert. Bila insert, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian, numbering dia dah berbeza. 4, 5 dan seterusnya. Because it is in inserting. Nampak tak? Sebab itu kalau kita study ataupun kita ingat balik apa yang Cik Zul cakap tu. Packaging ni tak ada apalah dia sendiri cakap. What he meant by due to the complexity of the project. Kalau tengok benda ni yang saya buat dummy ni kan. Dia involve proses finishing tau. Beza dengan packaging. Berbeza dengan packaging. Packaging tu cumalah die cut. Ini awak kena fikirkan dia punya dummy. Awak kena fikirkan dia punya finishing proses yang lebih complicated. Jadi apa? Jadi maknanya awak kena kuasai apa yang awak buat. Kalau awak buat packaging, awak kena kuasai packaging awak tu. Supaya kita tak nak awak ni, kan? Kita tak nak awak ni di label macam tu. Alah buat packaging. Alah simple. Tapi proses pun tak kuasai. Kita tak nak label. Orang label kita macam tu. Label. Tahu label? Pum, tampal stiker atas kepala. Alah. Taklah projek senang. Proses pun tak kuasai. Nampak? Kan? Jadi awak kena kuasai lah proses tu. Mahu pun packaging yang dikatakan simple tadi tu. Awak kena kuasai proses tu. Jadi kalau tak kuasai proses tu, nanti orang label kita tak kuasai lah proses tu. Tak dapat menguasai betul-betul bidang tersebut. Nampak tak? Okay. So, this is important. Now, I give you another example. It could be saya punya mission boleh masuk 4 up je macam ni. Okay. Boleh masuk 4 up je. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 up depan, 4 up belakang. Ini bukan dalam turutan yang betul. Nak beritahu awak jumlah up yang boleh dimasukkan. Jadi, there is 2 way to do this. Satu, you can fold something like this. Or, you can cut macam ni. Okay. And then you can insert. There's 2 approach to do this. If you think that you can fit this, you cut. Nanti dalam proses finishing, potong tengah, folding. Yang ni pun folding. Lepas tu inserting. Nampak? Boleh berlaku kat sini. So I can see this a lot. Student can use this method for minor and major one. Tak silap saya. Ada pelajar yang buat macam ni. So you can consider this. This fold sequence. You kena consider perkara ini. Okay. This also can be used for perfect binding. Perfect binding pun boleh, tak semestinya shadow stitching. You can also use a perfect binding. Okay. Now. Okay, this is the differentiation between buckle and knife folding. As you can see here, paper will run through this mechanism, a set of roller, and will push this up, downwards. Buckle, whereby knife folder, there is a blunt knife. Knife bukanlah knife tajam putus lah dia. Terputus lah dia antara satu bahagian, tapi dia akan put a pressure into this sheet here. So this what happened with knife folding. So let's look at the manufacturing machine. Okay, this is a combined folding machine with buckle and knife folding system. Ni dua-dua ada. Knife folding here and buckle folding over here. This type of machine. Now, for the short run ataupun on demand types of folding, there is a lot of machine or companies that produce a machine. For example, Morgana Digifold Pro. Now, this machine, mesin ini available ataupun ada seperti mana yang berada di Jabatan Teknologi Percetakan. Okay, ini ada. Because this machine can do short run for folding compared to this. Macam tadi kita buat comparison between die cutting and digital cut. So of course this can go for high volume. Tengok high volume. So this is for on demand, low quantity dan sebagai sesuai lah untuk pembelajaran kita. Nama dia Morgana Digital Fold Pro.
The Digifold Pro is an automatic creaser folder aimed at the professional digital or litho printer who needs... The Digifold Pro is an automatic creaser folder aimed at the professional digital or litho printer who needs to crease and fold digitally printed stocks, or stocks that are heavy or cross-grain. Some rotary scoring machines use circular blades that actually cut through the top fibres of the paper to create a score. This weakens the sheet and encourages cracking. The Morgana Digifold Pro, however, uses the unique Dynacrease creasing rule and matrix, which eliminates tearing and cracking. The Dynacrease is guaranteed for life and delivers an accuracy of plus or minus 0.1 of a millimetre. Using the Dynacrease mechanism, the Digifold Pro is able to run at over 6,000 A4 sheets per hour. This increases when running smaller sheets. The Digifold Pro is controlled by a 7-inch smart screen panel. This means all the operator has to do is to key in the sheet length and which crease fold scheme to produce. All settings are made automatically. The Digifold Pro can store an unlimited number of jobs for repeat work in the alphanumeric memory. Maximum sheet size handled by the Digifold Pro is 700 by 385 millimeters, or with the optional extension table, 900 by 385 millimeters. The new Morgana Posifeed system is included as standard on the Digifold Pro. This stops the drum to let the vacuum pull down the sheet before the drum starts to feed. This enables the feeder to be piled high and to feed difficult stocks easily. A wide range of stocks can be handled with a simple adjustment of roller pressures. A crease skew adjustment dial can compensate for slightly non-square sheets. There are no conventional buckle plates on the Digifold Pro. Instead, the machine uses Morgana's large diameter, patented, electronically controlled contoured flying knife. This has been developed to prevent scuffing and marking on digital stocks. The Digifold Pro can be used as an integrated creaser folder, performing both functions in a single pass, or as a standalone creaser when folding isn't required, or as a perforator when creasing or folding are not required.
Okay, so di Morgana Digital Fold Pro memang it was meant for digital printed product, digital printed product, mostly for photography printing process. Now, kalau kita belajar dulu 2 minggu lepas kan, we talk about printing processes. Electrophotography kan is a dry toner kan. Jadi dry toner ni oleh kerana dia bersifat dry toner ciri-ciri dry toner, jadi dia prone, dia cenderung kepada cracking apabila ianya dilipat. Crack. Dia beza dengan dakwat liquid ink. Dia akan crack. Jadi Morgana Digi Fold Pro capabilities dia mengambil kira antara kelemahan-kelemahan digital printed product. Tadi macam tadi buckle. Dia kata tak ada buckle pun. Tapi dia gunakan teknik yang lain. Itu engineering dia lah. Itu innovation of the machine to prevent the cracking. Prevent the cracking. So my advice to you is for you to download this specification and study and apply fold types, jenis-jenis fold yang boleh dilipat oleh Morgana Digi Fold Pro ini. Half fold, gate fold, concertina fold dan sebagainya. And apply this for your project. Okay? Now, next, we talk about the binding method. Binding method. Now, there is a various type of binding. Mechanical binding, hardcover binding, adhesive binding, or wire ataupun saddle stitching. The most commonly used. This is basically the most commonly used machine ataupun type of binding methods. Saddle stitching, perfect binding. Okay, saddle stitching here, perfect binding here, using glue, and case binding, which involve thread sewn and hardcover and mechanical binding. Okay, mechanical binding. I have mentioned about wire saddle stitching. Wire staples are pushed through the sheet of a block and close on the underside. This give you some example. Here, here, and here, stitching. Okay, staple head, force through, bukanlah ketuk pakai hammer, gunakan mesin. Kita akan gunakan mesin. Okay, types of staple and closure ni depending upon the types of job, gantung kepada jenis job. Okay, this is saddle stitching. Okay, now this is some example. This is one example of the wire stitching machine that capable to do saddle and side stitching. Okay, Hofner exact wire stitching machine. Ini ada di department teknologi percetakan.
Wire stitching machines. Quality that pays off. Economy 25/40. The Knocker. This single head wire stitching machine offers the perfect solution for standard and loop stitching of pads and brochures. Robust construction. Easily adjustable table from saddle for brochures to flat for pads. Exact. The flexible mini. This multi-head wire stitching machine for mixed applications is characterized by being equipped as standard with universal 52/8S stitching heads. It is possible to fit up to 4 of these heads to the machine, having standard and loop stitching or mixed applications, being perfectly suitable as a standalone machine for the completion of a whole system and/or test unit. Exact Plus, the semi-automatic. This stitching machine with hand-feeding stations allows standard stitching and loop stitching or mixed applications. The difference between this machine and conventional saddle binders is the ability to gather and stitch unusual formats or paperweights. Subsequent extension of up to 6 stations. Highest efficiency with up to 4,000 cycles per hour. Orion 4, the flexible big one. This all-rounder wire stitching machine demonstrates its strengths with a solid construction, specially designed multiple head stitching machine for handling thick pads. Equally suitable as a standalone machine, or for completion of a whole system, as well as for special constructions. Fast and easy table adjustment from pad stitching, thus flat, to brochures, thus saddle. Extremely easy for the operator to change from one format to another.
Okay, so that was Hofner exact wire stitching machine. Now this machine is available. Now one thing I want you to look at this part. This is the head. Ni head. Ini head dia. Sini. Here. In this video, in this part dia ada two head. Hofner exact wire. It can push through two simultaneously. Serentak. Serentak. Dia boleh masukkan. Jadi dia meningkatkan efisiensi job tu lah. Kalau kita tengok magazine, dekat wire, dekat spine dia ada dua stitching kan. So proses tu lagi cepat berbanding dengan satu. So here, apa yang dia tengah buat ni, mungkin dia tengah buat side stitching ni. Ini dalam video ni dia tengah buat side stitching. Kalau saddle stitching, this table ni table ni boleh dibuka dan ianya boleh di-rotate, boleh dipusingkan. Bahagian yang opening ni, yang terbuka ni, kalau kita nampak ni, bahagian yang terbuka ni akan berada betul-betul di bawah stitching head. Sebab dia akan push the wires through the paper. Okay, ni macam ni kan. Okay, side stitching. This is side stitching. Tengok ni, peletakkan ni pun kita boleh nampak. See? Ini. Nampak? Okay. This table, I don't know lah. Mungkin nama dia jadi lain lah, depending upon specification of the machine kan. But this table can be release and turn this over this side. And lock into its position. See? So what happened here? Spine of a magazine of a signature is put under here and the wire is pushed through one side and this two side. So saddle stitching. Perfect binding. Perfect binding is applying a hot glue adhesive to the spine of the pages. Spine of the pages. Okay. Spine of the pages. Ni spine. This part is called spine. This part. So apply the glue here. After gathering, gathering all the signature is in place in correct sequence. Okay, lepas tu bukanlah apply cover dulu. Kalau apply cover dulu baru letak glue, salah lah jawapan dia. Sequence dia dah salah, dah tak betul. Jadi maknanya apa? Maknanya apa? Lepas gathering, okay, you apply the glue. And then you assemble the cover. You assemble the cover. That is the correct sequence for perfect binding. Next, what happen? Trimming. Ni bahagian ni kena trim. Ni. Tail, side, head. Spine janganlah trim, potonglah dia balik. That's the sequence of the perfect binding. Now, similar to saddle stitching, sama dengan saddle stitching. Sequence of the process tu kena betul. Okay. So what else? Perfect binding. Perfect binding using hard cover. So it involves sewing here. This part sewing. Ada sewing. Bahagian ni, spine ni. Kemudian apply a glue and then assemble here. So here, ni dengan sini, there is another part. It's called end pepper. Tampal. Okay, end pepper. Case binding. Is a hardcover. This is a hardcover. So produk yang macam mana gunakan hardcover? Biasanya produk yang ada value yang tinggi lah. Produk yang mempunyai value, high value. For example, kitab Al-Quran. Kan kitab. Quran kan. Al-Quran tu. Apa lagi? Buku, textbook. Yang high quality textbook. Dan sebagainya. Menggunakan case binding. Okay. What else? Mechanical binding. There is a lot type of mechanical binding. For example, if you can see here at my picture, I have this book. Saya ada satu buku ni. If you look here, binding, under the binding techniques. Okay, coils, spiral or wire, or binding. Okay, this is perfect bind. Case binding, hardcover. Okay, something like this. Over here. Okay, this is a spiral binding. Ataupun coil binding, coil. Commonly used for business presentation, proposal, manuals. It use spiral binding machine. Spiral binding, ada mesin lah, mesin binding. Spiral binding machine that punch hole over here. Punch the hole even, sama je kedudukan. Of course kita boleh adjust lah, bergantung depending upon the size of the book. Okay. Then insert a wire or a plastic coil. So this coil boleh jadi wire, boleh jadi plastic coil, depending lah. Depend upon the specification. Jadi this type of spiral binding and a wire O binding, it allows the book, dia membolehkan buku tu to be lay flat. Tahu lay flat? Buka dia jadi flat lah. Macam ni. Okay. Why? See? Lay flat. Flat. Jadi benda yang lay flat macam ni, dia sesuai untuk apa? Sebab tu dia kata tadi, I mentioned to you, lay flat ni suitable for presentation, proposal, manual. Manual kan, contoh buku manual kan, is a machine manual kan. Machine manual ni siapa pakai? Biasanya engineer, technician kan. Dia machine kat depan dia, dia nak tengok okay, bahagian mana yang ada masalah. So dia buka page ni, jadi mungkin at that time dia akan buat macam ni. Okay, this part kena betul kan, adjust. Ataupun dia akan lay flat macam ni supaya senang untuk dia rujuk. Oh, bos, saya fikir dia punya switch ni ada problem lah. You adjust ni. Jadi dia tak payah risau bahawa benda ni tertutup. Tak perlu dicari-cari. That's allow for this to be lay flat. Okay. Okay, what else? Wire O binding, ataupun double loop binding. Kalau spiral tadi single, yang ini ialah wire O. Ini beza dia wire O. Wire loops run down the spine of a book to match in colors. Jadi application untuk wire O ni, it could be various. Boleh jadi buku, manual seperti mana yang saya sebutkan tadi, ataupun boleh jadi calendar. Sebab calendar, desktop calendar, kita nak flip dia over kan. Kita nak flip dia lay flat supaya kita nampak sebelah sana kan, sebelah belakang calendar tu. Sebelah belakang calendar. Kita nak lay flat. Kan? When to lay flat. So you need binding technique yang sesuai lah. Okay. Jadi all these thing have one thing in common. Apa dia? If you look closely here and here, dia akan ada space yang agak besar between this part, edge of the paper through the hole. Dia ada space yang agak significant, yang agak besar di bahagian ini. Jadi your task is to look what is the size, what is the margin from here to here. Again, it depending upon the size of your wire O yang anda akan gunakan. This wire O will depend on the how many pages. Bergantung pada how many pages yang anda nak pakai. Nampak? Jadi you need to be very careful on that. Take those into consideration. Buat dia masa design tu, consider lah perkara binding. Macam kita consider die cut line. Sama macam kita consider die cut line. Kan? Okay, so that is some example of mechanical binding. Okay. So I want to share with you here how you decide on the type of binding. How you decide. Binding decision. How you decide. Binding decision are based on such practical matters. Decision to use what type of binding depending upon page count. Jumlah page. Okay. Number of critical crossovers. Ada crossover. Kalau awak buat page layout, for example you do print tech magazine kan dulu kan. So, apa yang page mana yang crossovers? Cross from one page to the another page. Banyak ke? Sikit ke? Apa critical ke? Tidak. Critical or not? Critical means penting lah. For example, ada teks ke ataupun ada gambar orang. Kan? You use a human picture kan sebagai crossover. Jadi tak logik lah. Kalau kena dekat muka dia, dah terpotong gambar muka dia, for example. So kena ambil kira perkara tu. Critical or not the crossover. Okay. And then next is about the type of stock or the paper. Tebal ke, nipis ke. Kemudian dia print quantity. Quantity. How many? 1, 2, on demand or thousands. Shipping and distribution method. Usage, penggunaan dia tadi. I give you one example. Manual digunakan oleh engineer ataupun technician untuk refer sesuatu pada mesin. Ataupun proposal, ataupun business, ataupun a textbook, ataupun tadi Al-Quran, kita baca dia di atas rehal dan kita simpan terletak di satu tempat yang tinggi. Kan? Nampak? And of course the budget. Those are the factors involved in to decide the binding technique. To decide on that. Jadi kenapa saya naikkan isu ni ataupun perkara ni? Why? Why do you think? Saya tak mahu anda buat katalog 4 page tapi guna wire O. Itu bagi contoh je lah. Takkan guna wire O. Jadi timbul persoalan. Apa faktor yang awak decide? Faktor yang awak ambil kira untuk awak buat keputusan memilih jenis binding. Dia akan timbul perkara macam tu. Dia akan timbul perkara tu. Jadi sebagai seorang pelajar sarjana muda yang mempunyai tahap pemikiran aras tinggi, jadi awak tak boleh cakap sebab supervisor saya suruh. Awak tak boleh cakap macam itu. Mesti ada research behind that. Mesti ada research sebelum awak decide. Apa faktor yang awak research? Itulah dia yang saya sebutkan tadi. Not simply as mix and match. Saya suka ni, okay, saya pilih binding jenis ni. Tak betul lah cara yang macam itu. Jadi kalau satu yang tak betul, of course cost dia pun akan meningkat. Jadi benda yang cost meningkat ni, customer tak berapa gemar lah. Kan? Our client will refuse to buy our produk. Cost tinggi. Kenapa cost tinggi? Baik-baik saya cari cost yang rendah. Lebih baik saya cari cost yang rendah. So kena ada justification. Okay. Now, next, this book, kalau boleh dapatkan buku ni. The Standard 6 SEPI, The Guide to Designing for Print Tips, Techniques and Method. Boleh cari buku ni ada available. Satu, my reference. My second reference is this. Ni agak technical. Folding Techniques by Heidelberg. So hari ni anda belajar 3 reference yang saya gunakan. Okay, now next I would like to talk about the coating, coat, laminating process. Now here with me is the what you call packaging. Now, as you can see here, they have window. Now, as you can see, ada window, and this window is the opening kan, bahagian yang terbuka kan. As you can see, this binding is this thin plastic film is applied on top of the packaging, and it cover the window. Okay, satu. Yang kedua, to apply a window on a packaging, another technique is this. This is a window. What you can see here, a plastic film. A plastic film is paste ataupun patch. Window patching process. This process is called window patching. Patch onto the packaging. Beza dengan yang ini. Ini laminate together with the window. This is a separate process. This is called window patching. So after die cutting, for this workflow, untuk workflow yang ni, for finishing, okay, after die cutting of this box, okay, dia akan do the window patching. Patch here, ada glue lah, special glue. that can stick plastic, food grade plastic with the food grade packaging ni kan. Okay, dia akan patch over here. Okay, then barulah mungkin folding proses tu akan pergi secara manually folding. That's the workflow for this. Okay, now this is the workflows. Another one is this yang tadi previously. Laminate first. The step is laminate this first, and then do the barulah proses seterusnya die cut. Okay, maknanya the laminate. Laminate dulu ke? Die cut dulu die cut dulu kan? Die cut dulu and then dia laminate this first. So it will be together with the lamination plus plastic. This is a lamination plus plastic. Now the appearance of this lamination depending upon the type of the plastic, of the appearance of the plastic. Now gloss, this is gloss. We can also have matte lamination. Matte lamination. Gloss. Dia kena cahaya nampak berkilauan. This is matte. Dia tidak reflective. Beza dia tak reflective. Okay, so it depending upon the types of packaging and the needs of this packaging. How you decide on to do the laminate ataupun finishing, because at the end it will involve cost. Jadi bila awak memilih proses ni, when you apply this process, kena consider faktor-faktor yang saya nyatakan tadi. Bagaimana ianya diguna pakai, siapa nak guna pakai, mungkin melibatkan faktor penghantaran produk tu, faktor bagaimana ianya dipamerkan, bagaimana produk ni dipamerkan. Jadi perkara-perkara tu dia tak tetap, dia tak fix kepada satu, sebab dia different. Because why different class? Because nature of the product ni berbeza. Ini bawal ratu tudung, ini kosmetik. Yang mana ada combo produk dalam dia. Ini pula cake, food category. So depending upon nature of the product, bergantung pada nature produk ini. Jadi you need to justify. Kena ada justification. Kena ada justification apabila anda membuat finishing pada proses ini. Not the answer will be, bukan jawapan dia ialah saya pilih because I choose to do this, I choose to do that. mesti ada justification kenapa awak pilih tersebut. Lepas ada justification, ada proses flow dia yang tertentu untuk menunjukkan kefahaman anda berkenaan dengan proses tersebut. Okay. Now, this is what I meant by, before we go into the final slide, this is your task for today. Specify the finishing operation for your final project. Specify. I want you to specify finishing operation. Okay, we have discussed a few most commonly used type of finishing in the printing industry. Your task today is to specify the finishing operation for your project and retrieve type of equipment used to complete your finishing process. What I meant by specify the finishing operation, you're going to illustrate this something similar to this. This is the process steps for the production of fancy books. Fancy book ni I would say hardcover lah. Okay, is a hardcover. Buku hardcover tu. Okay, I want you to specify in terms of, as you can see, it can be divided into the body of the books and the cover of the books. Terbahagi kepada dua bahagian, A and B. See? Kenapa terbagi kepada dua? Because this body involve different substrate. Ini pun different substrate. Satu, justifikasi yang pertama. Justifikasi yang kedua, it also involve different finishing process. This for example. Okay? For the inner or the body, after print, it need to be folding, and then gathering, and then binding, kemudian trimming. Nampak flow dia. So for the cover, okay, after the print out, trimming the cover part, ada bahagian tertentu kena trim, and then do the case making. Okay, so next, is it involve any finishing, surface finishing on the covers? Lamination, apa lagi? Stamping or whatever yang tadi kita sebutkan tadi kan? Ataupun is it need for rounding the covers? Rounding the covers on the edge ni dia jadi round. And then nampak, look at this arrow. Arrow ni maksudnya the joint between the body and the cover will be over here during the casing in. This is case and put it into the inner ataupun the body. Lepas tu barulah next process book pressing, tekan supaya dia lebih kukuh. Joint burning and end product ready for this dispatch. So all this is a compulsory process. Not optional tapi compulsory process. Yang merah ni. Yang tak ada kotak merah ni dia tak compulsory, dia jadi optional process. Compulsory wajib buat lah, tak buat tak jadi buku lah. Dia jadi macam tu. So this is the process step for the production of hardcover books. Al-Quran Al-Karim hardcover. Ultimate print cetak ni. Okay. So all the things that I discuss in this slide, this is the process. Basically, this is the process steps to produce this Al-Quran. Okay, you have the body here ataupun inner, and you have the cover. So your task is to illustrate this step for your project. Tugasan awak tak adalah sesukar buat Al-Quran ini, proses flow untuk Al-Quran ini, tapi lebih simple, lebih straightforward. Untuk meja 1 packaging anda, kemudian meja 2 dan juga minor. So it's not as complicated as hardcover, tapi kena betul dan tepat flow proses steps for the production of your project. Okay, I want you to do this. Okay, with this chart, dengan adanya carta ini, awak akan buat carta ni, and supported by a short brief discussion about this flow. Okay, about this process step. Nama dia process step. Proses ni semua proses ni, nama ni proses. Step ni step. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step dan sebagainya. Langkah. Tak ada langkah 1 tiba-tiba langkah 10 kan. Langkah 1 kena langkah 2. Langkah 2 kena langkah 3. Sebab tu dipanggil step. So you will provide a description to support your process step. Saya ulang, a short description. Saya tak nak panjang-panjang lebar. Panjang-panjang lebar nanti copy and paste. Bukan tulis apa yang awak faham, tapi copy entah mana-mana, letak je kat dalam tu. Jadi bila presentation nanti jadi bingung. Bukan jadi bengong, jadi bingung. Bingung dia tak nak jawab macam mana. Tak tahu. Jadi very short description about the process. So you can use my material here and type of machine that we have discussed. Type of machine that we have discussed in this slide. So with that complete and integrate that or put that in your technical report in your Postpress chapter. Question. Soalan.
Sir.
Yep.
Saya tanya, usually some of the product packaging kan ada gluing, macam dia gunakan glue untuk dia punya macam binding. Jadi selalunya dia macam digunakan atau di-applykan pada macam segmen keberapa, pada yang waktu hujung ke, atau macam mana saya perlukan pencerahan sedikit.
Gluing. Gluing, is it gluing?
Ah,
Okay, gluing. Let's look at this example. Macam ni kan? Okay. Now, this part and this part. Nak kena glue. Nak kena letak gluing. Jadi, lepas die cutting, after the die cutting, then next what? You have the coating. Yang ni ada ini ada water based coating, food grade coating, sebab tu nampak macam berkilau. Okay. So and then after that this part dia dah specify lah bahagian ini ada gluing. Okay, so this creasing line ni will guide the folding macam ni, dia akan lipat macam ni kan. Okay, akan lipat macam ni, some base of the macam ni lah dia dah dapat macam ni, dan dia apply glue over here. Ataupun benda ni terbuka pun boleh lah, maksudnya dia tengah flat, dia dah bercerai lah, dah tercerai daripada the big sheet tu, dia apply glue. Okay, apply glue, nanti dia akan flat macam ni. Dia akan lay flat macam ni. Okay, ini ada printer side. Oleh printer lah, orang yang buat ni lah. So, once dia deliver this, deliver kan, hantar kepada pelanggan yang akan buat for forming. Ni kita panggil lah, kita labelkan dia lah forming, bentuk kan, form. So dia akan buka macam ni. So dia dah glue kan. So dia akan apply lah ni. So this forming berlaku oleh customer. So gluing tadi, nak jawab soalan awak, gluing tadi berlaku sebelum forming, sebelum jadi bentuk ni. Sebelum jadi packaging yang sebenar ini.
Okay, faham sir. Kiranya gluing tu dia akan apply tu bukan melalui printing machine lah, dia manusia lah yang buat.
Yup.
Pekerja.
Yes. I have experience look at this. Saya ada pengalaman melihat ni. Dia letakkan double side tape. Put it over here. Tapi depending upon, tengok juga quantity tu. Maybe you can state during your presentation, you can mention lah for this project, I applying manual folding kat sini. Sorry, manual gluing. Kalau there is involve a machinery, kena namakan nama mesin tersebut. Apa nama mesin ni yang boleh mampu buat gluing ni? Folder gluer.
My name's Matt Davis. I'm the GM for Welch Graphics, and we are currently standing in front of our Pops Expert Fold Specialty Folder Gluer. What our Specialty Folder Gluer gives us the ability to do much more intricate glue setups. So, auto lock bottoms that some people call crash lock bottoms, but additionally trays, from 4-corner trays to 6-corner glued trays. We can do a variety of different styles. Now, you remember from some of the earlier sessions on our different equipment, we only die cut on auto flat and flatbed die cutters in our Welch Graphics business model. The reason we do that is because we want to have the tight registration and precision that flatbed die cutting allows you to do. If you do that on a flatbed die cutter, then you have to send those die cuts to a separate machine to go ahead and perform the gluing operation. As you go through the different steps of the machine operation, there are different belts that pull along the blank through the different phases of that machine center. Those belts and different hooks and bars will allow the box to fold at different timing throughout its path through the entire machine center, and then apply glue at the correct time to get every single intricate glue job done correctly every single time. At the end of the day, after it goes through the compression section, you have a finished box ready to go into a pallet and be unitized.
So this machine is called folder gluer. Now, if you look here, look at this video kan, dia dah bagi kita gambaran. Kita kena study lah yang disebut sebagai Bob's folder gluer. Tak senang je. You just Google, you can found the specification. Tapi kalau awak tengok if you study this video closely, quantity, amount of packaging that fold is huge, besar, banyak. Satu. Yang kedua, look at the specification of this machine. Mampu tak dia nak fold this type of packaging? Macam kecil macam ni kan, IKS punya produk yang kecil macam ni kan, capable or not? The capabilities of the machine itself. Sebab itu saya cakap tadi, if you want to propose, maybe you can propose during your presentation. Okay, kalau saya in the future I receive 10,000 packaging in this size from this client, you can mention lah, I will use this type of machine. This machine can do this. How you know that? You study the specification. Seperti mana yang kita study spesifikasi XL75. Okay, now we cannot provide you overall. Kita tak boleh nak provide awak setiap satu machine. Because like I mentioned earlier, the finishing process is diverse. Dia ada banyak. Awak yang kena tahu. Okay, so is a good way lah kalau awak boleh suggest, tapi awak kena cakap lah, for large quantity I will use this machine, for example. This machine capable to do this. Kita boleh baca spesifikasi mesin tersebut. The minimum, awak pun dah tahu kan, minimum and the maximum. Okay, so just search folder gluer machine, packaging machine. So you will find machine dia memang panjang lah, macam ni kan. Sebab satu part ni kan, packaging ni, satu part dia nak fold macam ni, satu part lagi dia nak, mungkin dia nak glue macam ni. Dia lalu sekali dulu fold yang macam ni dulu, lepas tu dia akan fold yang seterusnya, bahagian-bahagian yang tertentu. Okay, so I want you to look or to search for packaging folder gluer. So you will get a better understanding. Soalan.
Chef.
Siapa? Asma?
Asma.
Ya,
Aha,
Asma.
aha.
Hmm.
Um, saya nak tanya sir, adakah it's necessary for a packaging product untuk ada finish macam lamination or coating untuk prevent cracking during holding?
Sorry, again? Band tracking? What is that?
Adakah necessary untuk macam printing product lah, macam packaging ke kan, untuk ada finish macam coating ke, untuk prevent cracking time folding?
Oh, is it compulsory lah soalan awak? Is it wajib ke? Oh, wajib ke?
Wajib tu.
No, it depending upon the product. Faktor-faktor yang kita bincangkan tadi. We need to decide. Kita nak decide, nak buat decision kan. Our decision must be based upon the type of product. How the product will be handled. Bagaimana produk tu akan di handle lah. Maksudnya bagaimana dia display. Adakah dia melalui proses courier ke. Dan sebagainya. Ataupun dia bagaimana ianya dipamerkan. Dia pamerkan dekat chef je. Jadi bila dekat chef dia kena compete dengan kompetitor A, kompetitor B, kompetitor C. Jadi dia duduk ni setaraf je. Jadi dia kena stand out for example. Jadi dia kena ada finishing yang sesuai for that particular packaging for example. Jadi it depend upon the type of packaging, type of product, nature of product and the handling. Next is about the how can you the needs to protect the to give extra protection to the product from scuffing dan sebagainya, scuffing, stretching dan sebagainya. Jadi you can consider that lah. Jadi itu pentingnya pemahaman berkenaan dengan satu-satu projek itu. Saya tak nak beritahu okay semua orang kena buat laminate. Nanti sebab apa awak akan gunakan apa yang saya cakap ni. Kan Cik Usop suruh, bukan saya tak tahu. Kan? Jadi saya nak awak yang fikir. Memang betul pun. Kalau di peringkat degree ni awak yang kena fikir the reality, the significant, the logic behind that the decision. So you can consider perkara tersebut and look at the sample. Itu penting sample kan. Look at the sample. Previous packaging. Kalau kosmetik dia macam mana? Kalau fast moving goods macam mana? Ni macam ni kan, fast moving kan, perencah ni dia macam mana? Kan. Kemudian kosmetik. Okay. Appearance dia macam mana? Kan? Lagi apa? Paper bag. Ingat paper bag tak boleh finishing ke? Tengok. Paper bag. Lighting saya teruk nampak. Stamping. Silver stamping on a paper bag with the lamination. Strengthen the packaging. Kan? Dekat brand name je. Tak ada print out. It's just a stamping. Lagi apa? So you need to look into that. Ada juga yang tak ada apa-apa, water based coating pun ada. Macam-macam packaging Cik Usop ada. Ni packaging ke Cik? Ni packaging ni folding carton ni. Sleeve. This is a sleeve. Tefal. Kuali kan? Macam ni kuali tu. Takkan nak buat packaging sebesar-besar tu, masukkan handle dia semua. So dia apa? Dia jadi macam sleeve yang macam ni. Yang ni water based coating. Kita boleh nampak dia shining and the shining dia beza dengan ni. Ni glossy dia beza dengan yang ni. This. Calendar. Kan? Calendar. Perlu ke? You need extra protection here. Tak ada lipat, folding pun tak ada. Yang menyebabkan scuffing ataupun smearing ataupun effect on the ink kan, apabila sheet ni melalui proses lipatan tau. Kan tadi kita nampak roller kan. Dia melalui proses lipatan tu, jadi roller tu pressure dia kuat ataupun apa, dia akan tertinggal lah streak garisan tu. Jadi macam ni kan, dia tak melalui proses itu kan. Dia just tengok ni, trimming je. Trim. So perlu ke lamination atas dia? Tak ada apa dia nak protect from what. Dah lah paper memang coated paper, memang dah ada nampak glossy effect. Nampak? You can just justify on that. So it depending upon the type of the product. Okay, good question. Soalan.
Sir, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Nak tanya, macam mana nak yakinkan assessor bahawa manpower pun boleh untuk buat folding?
Manpower pun boleh untuk buat folding manual.
Manual maksudnya. Macam mana saya nak jawab ke assessor ni?
Apa jenis folding awak?
Double parallel fold.
Double parallel fold. Boleh pakai mesin tak folding tu?
Boleh. Tapi cuma saya punya kan saya buat dekat template digital. Kiranya satu muka saya tu dapat 4 up. Kiranya bila nak fold dalam mesin tu dia masuk dalam saiz kecil. Boleh tak?
Boleh tak ke masuk dalam saiz kecil?
Betul.
Kena study dia punya spec mesin lah. Berapa awak punya saiz nak fold tu? Berapa fold size tu dengan mesin apa yang awak nak lipat. Kalau Morgana, study tadi Morgana Digifold kan, tengok minimum dia berapa, maximum dia berapa dia boleh fold. Jadi awak cakap lah, so I'm using this machine to fold 400 brochure. Tapi kalau satu saya lipat pakai tangan lah cik, sebab kalau nak pakai mesin kena ada proses make ready macam kita belajar offset tu kan, proses make ready seminggu lepas. Jadi kalau untuk satu ni, untuk assessment saya lipat pakai tangan lah cik. Itu jawapan dia kan. Kalau quantity tinggi, for this project I have been provided for 400 piece of paper, I using this machine for example, Morgana blah 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 blah, this type of setting that I will use. So 1000 also can use this machine. Kalau order saya 1000, saya gunakan mesin ni. Awak pun dah buat costing kan, dah masukkan maklumat tu kan, masukkan. Kalau 5000 yang macam ni pula. Kalau 10,000, 10,000 saya kena fikir balik cik, sebab mungkin saya tak guna XL75, saya akan guna mesin yang lebih besar 8 up for example. So US estimate, anggarkan dia. Itu caranya.
Okay, faham sir.
So kalau kita study kita punya LG full, now when we study here, sebab itu kan, awal-awal lagi bicara awak ni, dia dah cakap dah, dia boleh divide kan finishing awak kepada compulsory dengan optional. Jadi mana yang compulsory? Yang kena buat tak jadi packaging. Kena buat kalau tak buat tak jadi brochure. Kan? So yang lain tu jatuh dalam kategori optional. So maknanya in your report you can mention that okay, this is an option. If I want to do this is the finishing that I can provide ataupun apply to the packaging. Jatuh dalam kategori option, pilihan. Bukan dalam kategori compulsory. So during your presentation you can mention that. Macam tadi Asma tanya kan, cik perlu ke kami buat ni? So it depending upon the complexity ataupun type of job kan, depending upon. Tapi saya dah divide it into a compulsory, is a must do, mesti buat. Optional dia jadi nice to do ataupun good to do. Good ni maksudnya tak buat pun boleh, buat pun boleh. Dengan kata lain gitulah. Tapi when you defend on that, bila awak cakap perkara tu, kena ada asas lah. Kena ada basis lah. Jangan cakap, Puan Hanis kata compulsory, saya pun, yang ni optional, saya pun ikut dia. Tak boleh lah. Maknanya awak tak berlaku proses pemikiran lah kat situ. Kan? Jadi, when you said about that, awak kena, faham tak? Kena support with the evidence lah. Kenapa awak kata yang ni compulsory? Kenapa yang ni awak kata dia sebagai optional? Kenapa lamination tadi tu awak letakkan di bawah optional? Bukan di compulsory ke? Nampak tak? Kenapa compulsory? Sebab dia kena folding, nak mengelakkan daripada scuffing ke, nak mengelakkan daripada apa-apa, gear mark ke apa, streaking ke. Nampak tak? Okay, you can mention that. Okay, so this table this table ini, you can look into this table and you can edit this table. Awak boleh edit table ni. Nak edit macam mana cik? Bukan dah habis ke masa? Siapa kata tak boleh edit? Memanglah time frame memang dah sampai ke arah ni. Tapi main spec ni kita boleh refine the main spec. Refine dia. Awak pun baru terfikir. Itulah namanya proses pembelajaran. Kalau dalam industri tak boleh lah macam ni. Kena ingat lah. Kena learn something lah. Oh tak boleh lah. Dalam industri tak boleh macam ni lah. Kalau nak confirm, I need to discuss further with my manager for example. Or with my client. Jadi awak learn something. So you can adjust ataupun edit this finishing. Dia macam tu Now, similar to the other step ataupun job docket yang awak dah buat. Kan, job docket. Baru terfikir. Alamak, nasib baiklah Encik Usop buat satu cerita pasal Postpress. Kalau tidak, tak buat kan. Dah terlupa nak masuk job docket. Edit balik job docket tu. Edit balik job docket. Kemaskan balik information tu, masukkan semula dalam report. Dia gitu. Boleh. Tak ada masalah. Soalan? Tak ada soalan. Okey. Kalau tak ada soalan, kalau ada nantilah mungkin sekarang belum nampak lagi. Kalau ada nanti tanya. Okay, and finally last I want to talk about this finishing something related to our industry lah. So printing industry oleh kerana diversity kan of the printed product ni diverse kan, dia banyak buku macam ni pula, packaging dia macam ni pula. Jadi ciri-ciri ataupun karakteristik production line untuk printing industry ni dia bersifat job shop. Dia tak bersifat continuous. Dia bersifat job shop. For example, continuous tu contohnya apa kelas? Macam buat kereta lah. Menu proses buat kenderaan kan. Proses membuat kenderaan tu kita boleh panggil dia sebagai continuous process. Kalau kita tengok ni kenderaan dekat tangan saya ni, dummy lah Nissan GTR kalau kita tengok proses pembuatan kereta ni, satu kilang buat kereta tu, dia akan buat kereta tu, mula-mula dia kena ada material dia, aluminium ke besi ke, nak buat stamping pada bahagian ini. Lepas stamping dia kena buat apa? Mungkin proses pemasangan enjin ke apa benda ke. Ada satu department yang buat enjin. Pasang enjin ke apa benda, ambil material daripada bahagian-bahagian tertentu dan pasang enjin untuk kenderaan. Lepas tu barulah sampai kepada satu unit assembly process. Is a continuous process. Tapi dalam printing dia tak, sebab dia banyak sangat, dia continuous. Dia diverse. Tak macam kenderaan tadi. Kenderaan ni kata nak buat kereta ni kan. So kereta ni daripada bumper sampailah kepada ekor dia ni, dia boleh dalam satu production line, continuous line. Tapi dalam printing ni dia tak. Sebab dia diverse of the product. Diverse. Ada packaging yang macam ni. Ada pula packaging yang macam ni. Kan tengok saiz dia. Saiz pun dah beza. Finishing lagi lah beza. Jadi oleh itu, printing ni, dia adalah ada bersifat job shop. In other words, dia tak semestinya dalam satu kilang tu, dalam satu industri tu, ada semua sekali kelengkapan tersebut. Tak semestinya. Dia mungkin dia kena outsource ke tempat lain. Dia kena kerana apa? Sebab apa? Dia memerlukan satu kemahiran, skill yang berbeza dan juga teknologi pembuatan yang berbeza. Kan? Macam tadi kan. Die cut, nak buat die cut block. Nak buat die cut block tu, dia memerlukan skill yang berbeza. Skill menggunakan AutoCAD ataupun CAD software. Lepas tu skill nak menggunakan laser cut. Menggunakan teknologi yang berbeza. Jadi tak semua ada lah dalam industri percetakan. Itu yang dimaksudkan sebagai job shop manufacturing. Jadi kalau kita melihat kepada konteks tersebut, kalau kita pergi ke printing near Jalan Brunei, kita boleh nampak kedai-kedai yang kecil seperti ini muncul. Yang mana dia cater untuk job yang kecil-kecil ni, ataupun projek ataupun proses yang spesifik seperti yang saya maksudkan tadi tu, die cut block, buat mock-up dan sebagainya. Jadi muncul syarikat-syarikat kecil. Sama juga macam folding. Buat finishing ni memang ada satu kedai tu kerjanya buat finishing je, buat folding, buat stamping. Itu sahaja ada dekat Jalan Brunei ni. Ni saya bagi contoh lah. Printing ni Jalan Brunei. So ada banyak kedai-kedai kat sini. So for example, you tarik kepala orang kuning ni, this yellow guy, and then you just drop in here. Kalau awak tengok oh, ni dah belakang dia kan. Design line membuat satu proses tu dia dia spesifik kepada proses tersebut. Dia buat die cut block saja. Ataupun dia buat finishing, dia buat die cutting saja. Semata-mata buat itu je. Dia tak buat printing dah. Printing dia buat orang lain. Orang lain yang akan buat percetakan. Jadi ini berlaku di yang saya familiar lah. Ada 2 tempat. Kalau di mana? Di Jalan Brunei. Sini. Kawasan-kawasan ni. Jadi kalau saya Google pun saya boleh nampak point printing tu banyak di kawasan ini. Ada duduk bersebelahan pun ada. Di belakang ni dan sebagainya. Satu lagi di Serdang dan juga di Sungai Besi. Jadi my point here is that proses ni proses finishing ni dia bersifat spesifik dan dia dalam konteks industri percetakan, dia dalam konteks job shop, manufacturing. Jadi sebuah syarikat yang besar mungkin dia akan outsource proses die cutting dia. Memang ada spesifik company yang buat die cut semata-mata. Memang ada spesifik company yang buat mock-up semata-mata. Ada. Jadi kenapa saya share perkara ni kepada para pelajar? Mungkin awak nak develop your own company kan. Awak nak establish your own company. You good at packaging development. Focus on the packaging development. For printing, you hantar dekat tempat orang lain. Outsource. Dekat tempat orang lain. So this given you an opportunity. Sebab tu kalau awak tengok final project real life degree in printing technology kan. Dia adanya benda-benda macam itu. Jadi itu yang proses tu jadi menarik. Dia bukan teori semata-mata tapi dia involve practical experience doing that. Okay? So with that, thank you very much for your attention. I see you at 2 o'clock today for the production meeting. I want to know the progress of our books. Because we want to proceed with the ISBN and all. So please prepare on that. And for the time being, maybe I will look at some of you have submitted the project. Siapa yang ada submit ni, saya akan tengok. Ataupun kalau saya tak tertengok-tengok awak punya, you can remind me. Awak boleh ingatkan kami, cik, saya dah hantar 2 hari lepas, cik tak ada komen apa-apa, tolong remindkan kepada saya. 1. Yang kedua, awak tak jelas dengan apa yang cik tulis ni. Dalam komen ni saya tak faham. Yellow background, white background under yellow text is not suitable. Apa yang cik masukkan ni? Boleh tak cik tolong terangkan? So, kita akan buat penerangan kepada anda secara individu. Pokok pangkalnya anda yang datang kepada kami. Okay, so with that, thank you very much for your attention. Please do your task for today. Buat task awak pada hari ini and include that in your technical report. Tak perlulah saya buat satu lagi point. Awak dah dapat dah momentum dah. Awak dah nampak dah macam mana operasi Google Classroom kita ni. So sekarang ni we are at the final stage on the technical report. Do at your own way, dengan cara anda yang paling mudah, and put it in your technical report. And if you think that you need discussion on that, then please discuss with us. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.